hasn't been too long since you were the guys out there suiting up, getting ready to play. Was coaching something you always wanted to do?
I think it's always been in me. It was something that actually most of the coaches that I played for throughout my career, even going back to high school, always told me that I would be a coach. And my last 2 or 3 years here in LA, Frank Hamlin, who's one of our assistant coaches now, reiterated that so he started saying, you know what, you're going to be a coach, so you need to come in and start seeing what we do on our coaches meeting and how we put together scouting reports and what have you. And I started doing that and made the transition a lot easier.
Was it anything like you thought it would be, or?
It's a lot more work.
I bet, yeah.
A lot more work. You know, you don't think about it as a player because whatever time practice is, you know, you may get there a half an hour earlier to get dressed, and then you're out on the floor and you practice, and then if you do any extra shooting or whatever, you know, that's it, and then you leave. And, you know, there's nothing else that you really have to worry about. But as a coach, you have to get there a lot earlier than everybody else to prepare the practice plan for that day. You're watching film and breaking it down. And then you go through the practice, and then if any of the players want to shoot after practice, you're rebounding and passing to them, you know, and then you still go up to the office and, you know, and get notes and things to prepare for the upcoming game. So it's more of a regular type of job, you know, 9 to 5, as opposed to just being 2 or 3 hours of practice.
What kind of things when you're out here with the guys do you notice, or what are you looking for when they're out here just doing a shoot around?
Well, we try to get them to do everything that they're going to do at game speed. You know, it doesn't do any good when they're out just kind of shooting and going through the motion, and then you get in a game, and when you're in a game, everybody's going as fast as they can, and now all of a sudden your muscle memory isn't used to doing it at that speed. So the repetition that they get, we want them to do it, you know, like I said, at game speed, so that when it happens at a game, it's natural, then it just flows for them.
I guess part of this is trying to predict what's going to happen before it happens, and then sort of finding ways to fix it afterward. Do you think there's this much pressure versus when you played? Because everybody expects the Lakers to win all the time, so.
Well, that's one of the things that come with playing here in LA for this organization, because they expect success because they've had so much of it. And actually, that's a good type of pressure to have, and especially when you have a coach like Phil Jackson and a star player like Kobe Bryant that, you know, demand nothing less than the best. And so, you know, it makes it fun. It's challenging, but at the same time, you know, that's what we're here for. We don't, you know, some teams, they put up banners when they win a division or they win a conference. You know, we don't do that, because anything less than a championship is an unsuccessful season.
Yeah, did you feel the same pressure as a player as you do now as a coach, or is it different?
You know what, I've never really pressure, because it's basketball. It's a game, you're playing, you're having fun, and obviously you want to do it to the best of your ability. You know, so you just kind of look at it that way. All we can do as coaches is try to prepare the team as best we possibly can, and hope that they go out and execute the game plan. And you're going to have, you know, good nights, you're going to have bad nights, but as long as they start to, you know, if they learn from their mistakes, and get better as the season progresses, and get the team to the point where they're playing their best basketball as we're heading into the playoffs, that's all we can really ask.
You know, I guess every season's a little different, and everyone just expects, oh, it'll be just like it was last year, but it never really is.
It isn't, because every year that you come into the season, you know, even if you get 10 out of the 12 players back, it's still a different team, because it's not the same team that you went through everything with the prior season. And now, you know, these other teams, they gear up and they load up to beat the champions. So they're coming at you. And, you know, what we've gone through this season, there's a natural complacency that kind of takes place when, you know, this team is back-to-back champions. They've been to the championship 3 years in a row. So there's kind of this mentality that we can turn it on whenever, you know, and just getting through the regular season so we can get to the playoffs where it really counts. You know, we'll turn it on when we get there. And as a coach, you don't want to, you know, go through that, but it's a natural thing that happens. And, you know, so you just kind of have to pace yourself. And like I said, just get the team to playing their best basketball as the season gets towards an end and heading into the playoffs.
And I guess notice the target gets bigger and bigger on your back the more times you win a championship. So
it does. But that's, I'd rather be in that position than than always looking up at somebody. So like I said, that's what makes it fun. And there's a lot of perks that come with that. You're in a big market here. When you have success, everybody reaps the benefits of it, in terms of contracts and endorsements and just exposure and things of that nature. I was talking to one of the coaches for New Orleans the other night when we played New Orleans and asked them how many times they play on television, nationally televised games this season. They said only one. And, we're on all the time, and, it's something that probably our players probably take for granted, but that's what makes it nice about playing here and having the success that we've had.
Now, some people forget that you actually started off a Celtic. What was it like for you the very first time you played with the Lakers, because that's such an intense rivalry?
Well, for me, it was, I grew up in California, so I've always been, I grew up in Oakland, but I've been a West Coast fan, and all the years when the Lakers and Celtics used to play in the finals, I was pulling for the Lakers. And so it was a surprise to me when I got drafted by the Celtics, because I was actually on the phone with Jerry West, and the Lakers were about to draft me, and the Celtics picked me, the pick before. So with that being said, I enjoyed my time as a Celtic, because I came in with some veteran players that, got to play with Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish and DJ, and I was around Red Auerbach, and so that's probably as good as it gets for a rookie coming into this league. And they taught me respect for the game and how to prepare and take care of myself, which I'm, eternally grateful for. But once that relationship ended, that was the end of it. And so, my last 4 years I felt were a blessing for me to be able to come here and experience what I did with the Lakers. And now I'm on the other side of it, and I can't stand green. And
I was going to ask you what that was like, going back, playing in the championship, knowing that you played with them originally, but you had gold going on in your heart.
That's right. That's right. It was. I still heard some jeers from some of the fans from, they telling me I was on the wrong side and what have you. And they got the best of us in 2008. But we were able to get some revenge last year, and so that made it sweet.
That must have felt especially good for you, for sure.
It did, and I mean, it's no coincidence that that organization and this organization, out of the 60 championships or so that there's been, more than half of them have been won by these two organizations.
Yeah.